Hi guys, this is like my third or fourth attempt to start this video. Welcome back. I got my sidekick over here, Parker. This is Flosstube number 11. It has been a couple weeks since my last Flosstube. I have picked a giveaway winner, and the giveaway was for hands-on design. Snow Much Fun for the Banner Year series. I included one of the It's So Emma line keepers, and it also comes with the 16 count Picture This Plus white Ada, and the giveaway winner was Traveling Stitcher. So Traveling Stitcher, I will insert the picture here of the random comment picker, and Traveling Stitcher, I will comment on your comment, and I will need you to either email me at crystalrow96@gmail.com. You can find that email in the description box, or contact me through Instagram. Some of my older videos have a different a different Gmail address, and I cannot access that Gmail anymore. So I'm using my regular Gmail account. I had set up a separate Gmail for this YouTube channel because when you have a YouTube channel, you get a lot of spam, particularly from people who want to scam you out of trying to get you to buy products like from Amazon and things like that. But anyway, I can't access that email anymore. I don't know the password, and I don't have a backup. I don't know why. I thought I had connected my other email, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I'm just using my regular email address, so please contact me and give me your mailing address so I can get this in the mail. So congratulations.
Don't trust this one.
Okay, so what have we been up to the past couple weeks? It's been busy past couple weeks. I really can't remember the week before. This past week, Parker had allergic reaction to an insect bite, so we've been to the doctor and doing things like that. So he's had a couple other appointments that we've been to. So we've just been doing that kind of stuff, and I have been stitching. I have a couple finishes. I have a little bit of haul. So let's get started. Okay, so I have two fully finished items. I did show these on Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen these. I don't post much on Instagram. I want to, but three reasons. One is I forget to. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. I forget to post on Instagram. Hey, don't shake the table. Two is I have like a lower end Android phone that doesn't take great pictures. So sometimes I take pictures and they don't show my stitching very well, so I just don't post it. And another reason is that my son distracted me and I forgot my third reason. What was the third reason? I can't remember. Anyway, I forget to post there. But anyway, I need to do better about that. But this was my first finish, and this was the groundhog that I was working on for February, and from Waxing Moon Designs. And I did finish this in time for Groundhog's Day, but I didn't finish it. I finished the stitching, but I did not fully finish it in time for Groundhog's Day. But it is fully finished now. I just used some small buffalo check pink fabric that I had from I think I bought at Hobby Lobby. This board is a board that I picked up at a local store here in my small town called Small Town Whimsy, and the girl who owns it, I think she might have a business partner. They just make little things like this that you can decorate your house with, and I think they intended this to be something you can put like a 4x6 photo in and tuck it under the strings. They already have the bow on there, which is wired ribbon. So all I had to do was glue my magnets, put some washers on this, and then I can use this for different finishes. So this is great for me because I hate making bows, so it's already there. So I thought that was cute. And I can use this. This is glued on there, so it's nice and sturdy. It's neutral, so I can use this for lots of different things, lots of small finishes. So I'm happy with that. The other one was XOXO by Stitching with the Housewives. I will insert the picture here that I made for my mom. I finished it on a frame from Walmart with felt roses, and that is at her house, so that's why I'm just putting a picture here. She loves it. I've mentioned this before, but she has a gray cat named Gizmo, so it was perfect for her, and it really, she puts it next to her TV so that she can look at it while she's watching TV, so that was sweet. And I do want to make that for myself before next year, so we'll see. Best laid plans, so who knows. So those are my fully finished projects. Something else I have been working on before I get to my WIPs is I have been making floss tags. If you are familiar with Stacy Alexander, I think her name is, the 911 Stitcher, I am in her Facebook group, and she has a YouTube tutorial on how to make your own floss tags. So basically what she does is she takes, and I'm sorry if I may get some of these steps wrong, but she takes just a piece of poster board and then glues like scrapboard paper or cardstock to the poster board. So I bought a few pieces of cardstock at Hobby Lobby, and by the way, I only have Hobby Lobby, and then I had a Michael's in my town. The nearest local needlework shop is over an hour away. I've never even been to it. So our Michael's closed, so now we only have Hobby Lobby. And of course we have Walmart. Our Walmart has an extremely limited selection of DMC. Usually the only thing I ever buy there is 310, or if I need white. So anyway, that sucks. Because a lot of times I need to go on Sunday while my husband is home from work to get DMC, and Hobby Lobby's closed on Sunday. So anyway, I just used a glue stick and glued my scrapboard paper to the poster board, and I bought the hole punch. I believe this is a 2.5 by 1 1/4 punch. I bought this from Amazon. And, oh yeah, it's 2.5. It says right here. I paid about $15 for this, maybe $16. And this is another example of one of the scrapbooking papers that I got. And I punched them out, and then I'll just cut right here and then punch out this section here. And then I take my little hole puncher, just a regular hole puncher, and punch it right in the middle to put on the floss ring. And then I have this size hole puncher, which is, it doesn't have a size on it, but it's like your standard circle that would be on your, it's just maybe 2 millimeters smaller than what would be on your, it's actually about the same size, if not bigger than your classic Colorworks hole. And I just slip it in there. Gotta push hard. Punch it, and then you have your floss tag. So slip this on the ring, put my DMC on here, and I've been making my own floss tags, and I love that. I think, you know, altogether I spent like $20. Well, no, including this, probably $24. And then in the future, I'll just have to buy a poster board or more scrapbooking paper when it's on sale, and that's super cheap. So one big piece of poster board I was able to put like 6 pieces of scrapbooking paper on. And a glue stick. I mean, I'm a homeschool mom. I have 50 glue sticks. So, that's been fun. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying matching my floss tags to the projects. Of course, I use this for my, you know, like Americana. And then this pink with the little flowers I use for my Lori Holt project. And this green and white gingham I'm going to use for a spring project. So, not necessary, but something fun. Okay, on to my WIPs. For my February Trucking Along by Stitching with the Housewives, I literally put like 10 stitches in this since last time. Once I made my XOXO, the cat in the cup, I just sort of lost interest in these colors and wanted to stitch something else. Sorry, I'm pawing through. So I picked this up. I stitched some of the chicken. Try to get some good lighting. I had my ring light on, but I know you can see the reflection of my windows and my glasses, but when my ring light was on, you could see 2 big rings right here, and it was because it's really overcast outside, so the ring light was really pronounced, and I had to turn it off. It was too distracting. So that's all I've done on that. When I feel like it, I'll pick it back up. And another reason why I haven't worked on this anymore is I can't decide if I want to stitch it in 1 piece or 2. My December Trucking Along, I stitched in 1 piece. But I just can't decide. I like it both ways. And I feel kind of stuck. Because I just feel like once I commit, I have to stick to it. Because I want to finish most of them the same way on like the same board or whatever. So we'll see. When I feel like it, I'll get back to it. So that was my February Trucking Along. I've been working on the Sew by Row by Lori Holt. This one right here. And I've been keeping my extra little flosses like on one of these that I made. And I tuck, oh, I'm showing the chart. I tuck it in there to kind of keep it from falling over. And I also stitched one of the little scissors on my bag. It's hard to see the camera in. So that was fun. I didn't want to do like a huge motif because it uses 4 strands of thread to get it to show up. And honestly, I don't know. I didn't want to use a ton of DMC and I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it. I just wanted to stitch something small, so I picked the scissors. So this is where I'm at on that. And I did use the masking tape on this instead of sewing around my edges. The tomatoes took me forever to do the little... It took me as long as it took me to do all the green tops is to do these tiny little pins. And if you look, you can see my tension is tight in the middle. I'm still working on getting my tension even. I do stitch in hand, and when I stitched in a Q-snap, my tension was much better, but whenever I try to go back to a Q-snap or a hoop, it feels so weird to me, and my hand really cramps up. I hold my Q-snap and my hoop so tight, and my arm and my neck really hurt, so I would rather have some inconsistencies in my tension on my fabric that I can kind of work out when I finish it than deal with knots in my neck and stuff. But I really like this. This is fun to stitch. I changed the handle of the sewing machine to gray. I'm also going to change the bottom and the wheel to gray too. So those machines are going to take a while. It's a lot of fill in. I'm definitely behind on this. I'm not worried about it. I'm doing it at my own pace. This is a fun thing to stitch. It's colorful. It's cheerful. I put just a few stitches in on my Main Street by Country Cottage Needleworks art gallery. I mean, literally just a few stitches. And this fabric, oh, the fabric I use on Sew by Row is 25 count Cloud Lugana by Lori Holt. Before Christmas, Fat Quarter Shop had a like 12 days of Christmas sale, and they had put the Lori Holt cross stitch fabric on sale for, I think it was 40% off, and I bought a bunch of it because 40% off, that was a great deal for that fabric. So I have a nice little stash of that fabric because I really like the 25 count. It's easy for me to stitch on. You don't, you know, with 2 strands, you don't always get like that full coverage. You do see some of the fabric behind, but I don't mind. I like stitching on it. This is a 28 count Star Sapphire Witchell Jobelin, and this is, I love stitching on this too. It's so soft. It's soft, but it's still easy to stitch in hand. I really don't know how to explain it. I just put the last bit of the roof, and I just started on the blue of the top of the art gallery. So I had started stitching this yesterday, and my hand was sore, and that's the first time I actually had to put my cross stitch away, and I didn't stitch at all yesterday. So I got a lot of housework done. Sorry, honey. My husband watches these videos. I know what he's going to say about that. He's going to say, yep. Okay. My Winter Rose Manor bag that I made from my Feels Like Home bird. And thank you so much for all the sweet comments last week about my, me talking about my brother and my mom about this pattern. I should have mentioned this first in the video. I'm just a little bit nervous. Your comments meant so much to me. I really appreciate all of them. I didn't get to respond to each comment individually, but just know that I read them and they all mean so much to me. They really do. Thank you so much. This is Winter Rose Manor that I'm stitching for my mom as a tribute for my late brother. And I have just kind of been picking this up here and there. I put in, I don't know if you can see it. This is really, the way the lighting is, I'm having a hard time seeing myself and what I'm showing. Let's see here. Okay, so what I did is I put in just the outline of the house in conch, and then I started putting in the outline of the windows. So what my plan is to do the outline of all the windows and the door, and then do the inside of that, and once I get all of the inside of the house done, then fill in the house. And this is on Lori Holt's Prim, 25 count Prim, and again, this is that's one of those I got 40% off, and that's a big piece of fabric. So to get that Lori Holt Prim for 40% off, that was a good deal. I was very happy about that. I'm using all the called for colors by Brenda Gervais. This is one I put a lot of work into. I decided that I wanted to do the Santa's Village by Country Cottage Needleworks this year. And for a while there, and I still don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done. I mean, this is a lot of stitching. And to get this done, I'm going to have to be a little bit picky about what I stitch. And I like to stitch a lot of different things. I don't like to stitch on the same thing all the time. So I don't know if I'm going to get it done this year, but you know, that's just going to be a choice I'm going to have to make. I'm either going to have to stitch it or not stitch it. I don't know. But I'm doing Mrs. Claus cookies. And this was about, I would say, 3 days of stitching. Hang on. Turn this on. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. Alright, so this is about 3 days of stitching to get this far. I think it's going to take at least 4, maybe 5 for me to finish this this section. This is Mrs. Claus cookies. And I've got most of the top border. Basically, I just got sick of putting in the red up here. And I do have the house. The only thing I don't have is the white of the bushes. I've started on Mrs. Claus, and when I first started this, the white wasn't showing up very well, but I knew that was probably going to be the case when I chose this fabric because it's a little bit lighter, but I knew that really the standout in this piece was not so much the snow, but it was the Christmas colors. So I'm okay with that because once you start putting in all the other colors, everything else pops around the white. So I'm fine with that. I think it looks really cute. And once I finish this, I am going to put it in a hoop just to do the French knots because I cannot do French knots in hand. I mess them up every time. So I think I'm going to have to devote, I'm going to say at least 5 days for every chart. And that's like 5 days of a lot of stitching. Not 5 days of like 30 minutes of stitching. That's 5 days of me like not doing any other hobbies or anything to get this done. So we'll see. And this is an example of some of the floss ring or the tags that I made. So those are the snowmen, and then I just wrote the colors. It's pretty light because I used the friction markers because they're erasable. So when I'm done with these, I can erase them and just put the new colors if I want to change the color of the tag. Which this is going to be a long project. I'm not worried about erasing these tags. They'll probably be worn out by the time I get done with this project. Okay. Alright, next. This one has been super fun. This is Just My Type by It's So Emma. And I haven't wanted to put this down. I have loved this. I'm stitching this on 14 count. I mess this up every time. Washboard white? Maybe? Okay. I think that's what it's called. It's the one that looks like kind of like shiplap. And this was left over from my Feels Like Home piece that I had enough left over to make this pattern. I did the bottom half of my typewriter. And I really need a break from that because I still have this whole piece up here to do with the piece of paper where it says Just My Type. That's all white stitching. And, oh, no. I need a break. I need a break from all that. So I went ahead and went down and did the hearts. And I love, this is Color and Cotton floss, which is wonderful. I love Color and Cotton floss. I love the variegation in that. And I love how the floss looks against this fabric. I hope it's showing up. Somebody's having a good time. He's playing Roblox. I love this pattern. It's really cute. I look forward to being able to display it next year for Valentine's Day. Okay, this is my last current WIP. And this is a new start since last time. This is Silver Creek Samplers, Michael's Prayer. And I talked a little bit about this last week. This is, I'm stitching this in honor of the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And I'm stitching this on 25 count Oatmeal Lagana by Lori Holt. Another one of those Christmas purchases. And I started in the top right corner. And I actually messed up. So somewhere in here I missed a stitch. So I need to take, I actually need to take all of this out and redo it. And that actually sounds horrible, but really it's not. That stitched up really quickly, so I'm not worried about it. I just need to sit down and do it. I thought about trying to fudge it, but when I looked at the overall border, it's really going to mess up those stars if I don't do it correctly. So I'm just going to unpick it and start it over. It'll be worth it in the end. But I really like this fabric. The green does not pop off of this, but if you look at the picture, the green doesn't really pop. I wanted the red and white and blue to pop, and I think it will. So, I love this. Oh goodness. Okay, let me talk about this. Make sure there's no chart showing. Okay. I ordered a bag from Goose Designs. And yes, I can make bags. But I saw this bag and I just loved it so much. It has the little cross. I think that may be a Lori Holt fabric. It has the little cross stitch designs, and then it has the Priscilla's Pretty Plaids on the back. And I ordered the one that has the little thread keeper thing, which, you know, as a sewist myself, my #1 goal is like to figure out how to make this for myself so I can have some more of them. And I love this thing. It's so well made. If you are maybe thinking about buying a Goose design bag, let me tell you what, they are amazing. She is a very good seamstress. These bags are so well made. I would love to buy more bags from her in the future. I can't really justify it right now because I have like enough stuff to make 50 project bags. I just need to sit down and do it. But I'm so glad that I purchased this, and it was perfect for this project. I love it. I cannot recommend her enough. My bags do not look like this. She is very talented. So, I can't remember what she calls these, but they're wonderful. And she has her little logo right here, Goose. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so I didn't want to go too long, but I kind of wanted to do a little WIP parade because I did take a hiatus from Flosstube. Let me take a drink. I did take a hiatus from Flosstube, and I worked on some projects during that time, and I just wanted to share those with you guys. So, the first one was Santa Baby, and well, these are in no particular order. They're just the order that I pulled them off my shelf. This was the December Stitch Quarterly from Fat Quarter Shop. It came in this little bag, and it was, the fabric for it was, and I'm sure if you watch Flosstube, you've seen this a gazillion times. This was the chart right here, and it was, when I opened it, I thought, oh, that's super cute. And then my second thought was, oh man, that's huge spaces of white and red stitching. So what I did was I took my friction marker, and you should be able to see it. I gridded my fabric, and the fabric they included was the minty opalescent fabric. So I gridded it out in tins, and that is with a friction marker. It will iron out on this. I did a test spot to make sure. I don't like to use friction markers on all fabric, but on lighter fabrics I have not had a problem. And when there's huge spaces of stitching where you know, it's harder to keep track of all the spaces, I like to do that. It's much easier for me to keep track. And all I did, I literally put in not even 2 rows of stitching. Because this was, you know, this was close to Christmas. I think shipping was slow because the USPS was backed up. So by the time I got this, I was kind of over Christmas stitching. But when maybe Jolly July or something like that, I'll pull this out and work on it. So that was Santa Baby. My next one, and this is a project bag I made with some Jessica Swift fabric. I think it's called Talon. And let me pull this out. Don't want to show a chart. These are the Lizzie Kate's Merry Christmas by the letter. So that's where I started. This is what it looks like all together. And the fabric I chose was 14 count. Oh goodness, what is this called? I had it in my mind, 14 count French Cafe Mocha French or something like that. So this is how far I got. And the white, like around the border, it's just, it doesn't show up. It does show up when it's inside like the M. You know, I just wasn't loving this. Don't love the fabric. It's really soft, and it was a little too soft for stitching in hand. I tried putting in a Q-snap. It was uncomfortable, and I just thought maybe I should try a different fabric. Maybe I should try like doing the aqua fabric, because I love when people stitch the Lizzie Kate's on aqua. I don't know. We'll see. But that's how far I got. I love the pattern. I just didn't love this fabric. I like the color. I just don't like the color with... I just didn't like how the white got lost in it. And I just didn't like the feel of the fabric. But I had bought a huge piece because I had never used that fabric before, and I thought it was going to be stiffer. So I don't know. This is what the inside of my project bag looks like with all the thread thrown in there. I'm using a call for Week Style Works fabric. I mean, Week Style Works floss. And I purchased all these off eBay. I still need a couple of them. Okay. The next one you've seen before probably, and I really need to get back to this. This is the, I don't think I have the pattern in here. This is the goodness, what is it called? I don't have the, I have the chart, but I don't have the topics around the pattern. It's the Love My Stitching bag. And I could be done with this in a couple days, and I don't know why I don't just pick it up and do it. And I love it. This is, I used black coffee, queen bee, and colonial copper, which I need to order more colonial copper. And then this is the fabric that I chose those colors to match. So this is what the fabric that I want to use for the bag is. It has sewing machines and different botanicals. So I don't know. I don't know why I don't work on that. It would make a beautiful project bag. Why do we not work on our things? I don't know. The next one I don't think I have shown on my channel is Big Creek Nativity Row. I hope you can see that. Okay. And I am stitching this on 28 count mushroom Lugana. It's very wrinkled. I haven't pulled this out. It's super wrinkled. So I am done with most of the right half. I need to go back in and put in the metallics and the stars on top. That was quick to stitch. I had ordered the metallics and they came in, but I had never sat down and started putting them in. So I need to do that. So whenever I get in the mood to stitch Christmas, and I actually want to make a couple of these for gifts, and they do stitch up quickly. And I have all the DMC, and they don't take, they use a lot of different colors. I had made these like floss things to hold all my colors, but they don't use very much of those colors. So I have plenty of floss. I have more of that fabric left over. I think it would make a great gift for a couple of my friends. So we'll see. I made this project bag. This was a Ziploc project bag. This was a project I'm sure you've seen because Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop stitched it, and then it became very popular. That's where I saw it. I have stray threads everywhere. This was I think it was Pine Mountain. You want to say hi? Oh, you're shaking the table. You want to come say hi over here? You say hi? I think it's Pine Mountain Designs, where it was the Christmas Advent, which my snowflakes are getting lost there. I've done all the Advent. I just have to finish some of the border and I'll be done with this. So I'll probably just make this into a pillow. But, I mean, literally, I just have to finish the outer border right here and this will be done. I really like stitching this. This was a lot of fun. I think my favorite ones, they were, I mean, a lot of them were fun. I mean, the sewing machine. You want to come say hi? Here. Don't get on the table, though. It shakes the camera. Okay. So, I think the sewing machine one, I don't know. They're all super cute. I really enjoyed that. So, that's a WIP that is so close to being finished. It's ridiculous. See if you've seen that one. Okay. So, this one I started, I think I'm sure my camera is lopsided now. I'm sorry. Got a little roughed up in that intermission. Okay. Okay, this is the saddest start ever. Oh, I can't even show it. This was, I'll put a picture up. This was, the book is put up, but I think no, that's Lori Holt. It's a sew-along quilt. It's a block of the month that I'm signed up for, and I cannot think of the name of it, but I'll put it up here. And there's a cross-stitch pattern that matches, and I started it. And I had bought 16 count fabric and I started it, and this is as far as I got, and I don't like it was just boring. It was like, oh man, this is boring. I don't want to do this. I love the quilt, but I think I just need to change the fabric. I think I'm going to use the 25 count Lori Holt Cloud, and I'll enjoy it a lot more. So that's all I got done on that one. He's getting some orange lifesaver mint. So sorry for headphone users. I know you hear the crinkle crinkle.
How loud is that? Does even...
Well, if you're wearing headphones, it's very loud.
Does anyone even have microphone yet?
Okay, I'm going to show the chart on this because it is a free chart that was given by Hands On Design. It was Berries in Bloom at Christmas. And I did start it on this, I don't know what this is called, the official name. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's like the buffalo check fabric. And that's the start I got. I was just using threads that I had. For the pink, I was actually just using one color. I was using licorice red because it's so variegated. It was it showed up really nicely against that buffalo check. But again, it was so close to Christmas, and I was trying to do Christmas presents, and my steam just gave out. I just didn't want to work on it anymore. So, whew, okay. Hello Dear. This is a stitch along by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And I think I did show some of this. And this is another one I don't have the front of the chart because it is a PDF that I printed. I'll have to stick it right here. But I had changed some of the colors to kind of suit my house, which is, I really love like hazels and teals and things. So this is as far as I got. And then I was gung-ho on this. I was just going, loving it, and then I just stopped. When she released the one that had the deer, and then I saw the presents, it was so Christmassy, and I really wanted it to be winter. I thought it was going to be something that would be like for the 3 months of winter, and it didn't look so Christmassy. I just lost my steam and lost my inspiration. And sorry about the crinkle. This is what he's getting. Orange Lifesaver Man. Here, let me just give you a bunch. Okay. Sorry about that. So I don't know. I like the Hello Fall. I like that one. And excuse me, Janet Jabber, she changed hers. She changed the deer to look more like a deer in her area. And you know, I said, yeah, the deer looks kind of like a Narnia deer, like a magical deer. And her deer looks like a real deer, like I would have in my yard too. Because the other animals, they look like regular woodland animals. But that deer is like magical fairy deer. And then the presents, I'm like, I don't want presents up in January and February. So I don't know, whatever. But that, you know, those patterns are, I think it was like $20 or something, $22 once it was converted to US dollars. So I feel like I need to finish it. I don't know. We'll see. I worked a little bit on my husband's Ghostbusters project. I'll have to put a picture here because this is another one that is the cover. I don't believe I printed because I bought it off Etsy. No, maybe I do have a cover. This is for his man shed whenever he gets it built. Okay. This is from Country Magic Stitch. He chose this from there. He loves anything 80s and 70s. So this is as far as I got. It's not much. I drew out all the grids on this. This is going to take me forever. It's an ambitious project for me. So I kind of wish I had started in another spot, but maybe I'll work on this on Valentine's Day since it's for him. Kind of like a little treat for him on Valentine's Day. I don't know. And this is probably my favorite WIP that I worked on during my hiatus. This was super fun. This was, this is the Blue Flower Halloween Parade. And I may have shown a little bit of this on previous Flosstube. I don't know. I know I did show it on Instagram a little bit. And I'm stitching this on Coffee Tea Dyed Monaco. And this is how far I've got. So I'm working on I think it's a lab with a bumblebee costume. Well, that's where I was when I left off. And I love this. I stitched some of this when my mom was in the hospital. It was around Halloween. I remember working on the pumpkin and the corgi and the unicorn costume. And this was just so fun to work on. I don't really decorate for Halloween. I like to decorate for fall. But I thought, pets in costumes, it was so cute, you know. It wasn't scary, and that is one that is going to be definitely a priority to finish before fall, because I want to finish that into a pillow so that I can display it. So those are my WIPs. I'm looking around. Something fell on the floor. Just a second. Oh, one more. Okay. This was a Christmas WIP. And I remember showing this in haul, but I don't think I'd started it this week. Christmas in the Snow. And this is coffee tea dyed Monaco, and once I started this, I realized that this was seriously a lot of stitching. I love the pattern, and I actually think this is how it goes. Yeah, this is how it goes.
A human.
So I love it.
Zombie.
If I ever get it done, it's gonna take me 4 years. Okay, I'm back. Alright, I'm a member of the Crazy Annie Stitching Classic Colorworks Floss Club. And this was the first shipment for the year that I received. And these were some of my favorite Classic Colorworks floss that I've ever received. And I can already tell you they're not showing up as beautiful as they are in person on my screen. So the colors are Barrel Cactus, Antique Lace, Dublin Bay, Garden Trellis, and these are all like white and deep teals, the hazels, tartan plaid, and this is like, these are like colors in my house. Green Onion, and they came in this little pink mesh bag. So I really love that. I'm happy to be in that club because it's impossible to get in the one on Fat Quarter Shop, so I was happy to get in that one. Another thing I got in haul was I ordered this Mill Hill kit, the Appalachian Santa. I am from Southern West Virginia, and I've never done a Mill Hill kit. I've never done beads, but I love these Santas. I love all the Mill Hill Santas. I like the Appalachian Santas. I like the Arctic Santas. I'm not sure what the official name is. I like all of them, the ones that look like they're, you know, in different parts of the world. So I'm going to start this one. I've been watching the tutorials on how to do the beading. I think I'll be okay. I think I can do it. And I'm really excited to start these. And there's two more in this series. One with a raccoon and one with what I think is a mountain lion or something. Anyway, I didn't grow up going around carrying mountain lions, but who knows. Another piece of haul I got was the quilt pattern book for Sew by Row. I love the cross stitch so much, and Fat Quarter Shop is doing a block of the month for this. I hope that's not too disruptive for you guys. I mean, I've come this far, I don't want to stop and redo this whole video. But the block of the month club is not in my budget at all. And honestly, I have so many other quilting projects going on, I don't even need to do it. But I love these, so I thought, okay, I'm going to get the book, and maybe I can just do like a couple blocks, like maybe a wall hanging, and do like the scissors in a sewing machine or something like that, with just scraps that I have. So I picked this up on eBay. I think it was like $12 plus a couple of dollars shipping, and I can just make it myself. So I'm excited about that. And the last piece of haul is buried. Is Trucking Along April, and I picked up a few of the flosses that I needed to go with that I didn't already have for the Stitching with Housewives. My goal for this is to actually finish it and get it displayed, because every time I start one of these I don't get it finished in time. But if I don't, I don't. But I would actually like to stitch this and display it. So either it's one piece or two pieces. We'll see. So that's the video. If you've stuck with me through this, through the dog chasing and the table climbing and the chaos and everything, let me look at my notes and make sure I didn't miss anything. That's all. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. You know, I know I have forgotten so much, and you know, just thank you to the community. And I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend, and happy stitching.